Right, hi kids, how is everyone? Let's get straight into the stream. I'm going to start with some on-chain and then go straight into the charts basically. I think you guys know where we stand in the macro situation, and I'll explain what we're seeing on-chain. There might be some like lagging indicators, but let's just get cracking. So first thing we're looking at is exchange net position change. So I did say the other day, I think this can start coming back down a tad. The good news is we're still seeing some buying being done. So the net outflows from exchanges are still quite significant. So with that being the case, we could get something similar to this. But at the same time, I think the Fed conditions are really bad. But who knows? We could get something like this. Overall, I do think it's like one large uptrend channel, which would eventually break down. So that is my thoughts. But let's go through some of the other metrics. Exchange balance per percent. So I think this is at like record lows. Well, not record lows, but it's of a new low. So this just shows how much hodling there is being done. So this is good, the fact there is hodling being done, but it's all fine with hodling being done in that people's cost basis is low because crypto's gone up so much over the last 18 months. So it's not like, we're sat at a price of 40,000, give or take. And it's not like the cost basis is 40,000. Most people's average cost is approximately like $24,000, $25,000, $26,000. So we're still way off that being tested. So, that's something to take note of. It's easy to hold through when you're still in significant profits. Let's look at addresses. Addresses balance greater than 0.1. Let's zoom back in. So these have started to tip upwards again. Addresses balance greater than 0.1. So we saw these were like stalling a tad, but now they've kicked back up again. So this shows you that people are still adding, but these are small wallets, remember. So look, greater than 1 Bitcoin now, we're starting to see that there's still that bit of tapering off. It's not, exploding upwards like it was. Similar to the address balance greater than 10, it's like uptrending, but not with any real conviction. We still haven't reclaimed the level we saw after this drop back down here. Address balance greater than 100. So we know this happened, this fall, and we know this basically didn't happen. This was creation of new addresses. So this big line here was the last day of the month on 28th, on February. So really, this amount is still sort of down here where my actual cursor is. So we haven't, these guys, addresses balance greater than 100, these guys have not gone back up to the numbers they were before the drop. They're still floating around down here. So that's something to really take note of. Addresses with balance greater than 1,000 Bitcoin. So this is a good metric, but we're seeing that they're not adding. They were adding and then they sold off into the high. So they're adding through the sort of 38, 39, 40, 41s. And then they were selling off into the 46, 47, some in the 45s. So they made like a 10% profit on that basically. But there isn't the conviction or the momentum to continue holding with higher prices. And this is the professional investors cohort, this metric here. So that tells you something, that they're probably not risking back on much. They might get another kick back up here to like a 42, 43. But, we are coming down. So it's not looking hugely positive. Lifespan, let's just go on coin days destroyed. Make sure there's nothing there. Go away. No, nothing. So this means that there's been no long-term coins being sold, but we had a lot of the market being sold here, to be honest with you. So this is when we got a lot of the old coins being sold. We had some spikes in here. This is really important, this spike here, because it shows you just overall some of the old coins were effectively being sold. Let's look at whale map. So my thoughts are, well, we can see large wallet inflows are starting to decrease. The bubbles are like shrinking every single day, which tells you that the people that have bought Bitcoins in a larger bulk aren't continuing to hold their positions, because we're seeing less and less of these blue bubbles. Bubbles indicate locations where large players accumulated Bitcoins that they are currently holding. So if we saw a week ago there was lots of blue bubbles and now there's less blue bubbles, it means they're no longer holding those Bitcoins that they bought. So that's something that's really key. This is what my thoughts are overall. Realized price by address. Sorry, wrong metric. So if we scroll all the way back in here, I have to get, is it going to let me move it? I can't zoom in, that's really annoying. So we can see here the white line is price, and then you can look at those. This shows you the average cost basis. So between 1 and 10 bitcoins, the average cost was $9.51. Between 100 and 1,000 bitcoins, the average cost was $7.95. But look, price always seems to, in the bear markets, collapse right underneath and test the 10 to 100 bitcoin cohort. We had the same again in here, in the 2015 bear market. We had the same again in here. I really want to zoom in here. It's annoying, it's not letting me do this. But this is the 2017, 2018 top. We got to like 19,000, whatever it was. 19,378. And we came all the way down and retested 3,200. And notice the 10 to 100 Bitcoin cohort wallet average cost was 3,125. So look at the chart. If you look at the left of my cursor, you can see that those lines of the yellow, the green, the dark blue, the mid green, and the other mid green, they were all tracking. Price was like holding that line. All of a sudden it came below slightly, and those holders capitulated. And that's what drove price down from a sort of, well, $6,000, with people's average cost basis being between 5,000 and 6,000, going all the way down to 3,195, and the cost basis still being 5,000. So if we go to where we are exactly now, you can see throughout 2020 and 2021, we haven't tested. We did during the COVID crash in March 2020, but from then onwards, we haven't tested it. So I don't think I'm crazy to think, with price being at 41,000 now, we can't go back down and retest. I think 14,000, 13,900 is pushing it. I really do. But I think to go down to 27,000 to 25,000, maybe get a 10-20% dip below that, I think you can get between 20,000 and 25,000. I really think we can see that. I think the conviction to hold, I don't think you're going to see a capitulation style event like we saw in here in 2018. I think people will just continue to hold, and they'll try and actually buy more. So maybe we don't go all the way down to 20,000, but we say maybe somewhere towards the 25,000 mark. But I think these guys have got to be tested. So that's something really key to take in mind. And those are my thoughts. As the Fed starts unloading assets from its balance sheet over the coming months, those are my thoughts, that we will begin to see this lack of liquidity and prices start coming down without being the relevant or needed momentum to take prices considerably higher. Let's look at the charts. Let's first look at the S&P. So there's two possible channels. I've now defined this one sort of as the main channel, this longer one. So I think we can come down here, retest maybe sort of 4,326 and get another bounce back into like the 4.4s, and then coming into the end of May, June, I think you could come all the way down to like a 3.9, something like that. And I think that's where we potentially see Bitcoin have its capitulation. So that's something, just a theory for now, something to take on board and take note of. Let's now look at Bitcoin. So back in 39, back in the 30,000s, which is good considering we're sitting on the sides. We want to see prices come down. I would have wanted to see price break out and come and test somewhere like 43 and then short from there, because this didn't really give us an opportunity to short it. Sort of broke above the flag, failed the flag, came back in and could not hold the horizontal resistance at 40,900, give or take. Sorry, I've just had a message come up. If my screen is... I think the stream is okay. Yeah, I'm going to continue. I think it's okay. So we can see we bounced from the main yellow box, which is reasonably standard, but the actual bounce so far has been poor. That's what I mean by lack of liquidity. There is not the bids there or the money in the markets to take the market to bring buyers in and take the market considerably higher. So with that being the case, you're going to see that prices come down harder and the bounces that they get are much shorter. So I was going to say they're shorter and sweeter, but they're not sweeter, they're just shorter. So I think, and this is like a clear bear flag, you might have to adjust it slightly to put it up something like this. I might even have to just redo it. You could probably get something like this. Something like that might be your flag. And it's pretty clear that this, I would think this would now break down. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a bounce. This was the local orange box. There was a higher box here, but the bloody chart didn't save. So I think it's inevitable that we do eventually break down. I thought we would see overall higher prices at some point. I thought we could get into these 50Ks, but I think what's ruined it is the fact that the Fed's March meeting minutes came out and they were really, really bad. Like, they were really hawkish, suggesting that the Fed wanted to do a straight 50 basis points rate increase, which is obviously not good for the markets. So I think that's what has seen this like sell off in here. And it was the top of the channel as well, so it's not something to be like ultimately shocked by. But overall, I think we retest 30,000. I think that's sort of a minimum retest over the coming months. I think overall, you see us wick into this zone. I think that will be. I think that'll be where we test anywhere between 20,000 and 26,000. I think that'll be our zone. So that's really what I'm thinking. I'm quite happy and comfortable to be set. I know you guys want trades, so that's why I suggested we do these maybe risky trades that I don't take, and I tell you guys I don't take. But if you guys want to trade each day, I'll try and provide the opportunities. I'm talking with the CryptoExplorer boys about getting this channel set up, potentially doing it for like Monday, something like this. So I know then you guys have got trades every day, and I know you guys will like that. But personally, unless we get a movement higher in prices, so that I can feel like a bigger short, I'm quite happy sitting on the side here, because I feel like the more I jump in and try and trade, the more chance there is of my portfolio getting cut up. So I'm quite content sitting here and thinking, even if it's 3 months, you wait 3 months, and you can see price come down to 20Ks, 25Ks. That's an unbelievable buying opportunity. You can always buy it in that zone, turn your computer off, and never stream into this stream ever again, because you'll probably then it'll probably be range bound for a while because the Fed stuff will still be continuing. But I think after, you might get a 6 month to 9 month lull after that, and then you'll start seeing something break in the economy, the Fed turn the taps back on, and everything picks up again. And that's really what we need. I think that's looking doable. Let's look at ETH. So very similar situation. Bitcoin and Ether have looked different in recent weeks, but this situation looks very similar. You've got this downtrend line. We broke down heavily, bear flag, broke down again, bear flag, probably going to break down again. I think a test of 2,900 is inevitable. I think we probably test somewhere in here. So somewhere like 2,790, something like that. So yeah, that's where I think we're probably at with Ethereum right now. Overall, I'm not confident. I want to say, so we've got the main box. Well, not the main box, but the main box for like this move. Just make it more clear for you guys, so you guys can save these charts and you can watch them as I play them. But I think we can have a breakout at some point, but we need to see this breakout. At the moment, we're crashing, bear flag, crashing, bear flag. I think we'll probably get one more, and then you'll get a rebound up. It might be something where we wick down into 2,890, 2,900 level. And then on the daily, we might get something where we get a bull div. Something where we come right down to here. I think it's probably unlikely on the daily, actually. It's doable in the 12 hour, and that might be enough. A move down to 2.9, that might be a decent short-term buy opportunity. So, there may be an opportunity there. So we've really got to think about that also. Let's look at some other coins, though. Litecoin overall, I think the volume is probably shocking, I'm guessing. Volume is picked up slightly. It's okay. It's actually had a rather decent move, 102 to sort of 111. It's not bad. You got a 10% move out of it, but it was due this overall. This can go. I'll redesign these tomorrow and post an updated version of all of this in the morning, so you've got a fresh watch list. Litecoin is just not the one to play. I would steer clear of Litecoin. You guys know I've been absolutely bashing it from day one. It didn't get the run up that everything else got in the right market, in the bull market. So Litecoin, I'm definitely not interested in. Let's look at FTT. Oh god, that's not good. That to me is a clear bear flag. Well, uptrend channel. So I would expect that to break down, probably retest 39.60, something like that, which is obviously a sort of 5% decline. So overall, not looking good. Declining volume is well noticed, so not great. I think you might get a test of this 39.60 level. It might be a good opportunity so this might be one of these scout plays that we play. Buying at 39.90, try and get a bounce up into like 40.80, something like that. So you might go and get a sort of couple percent move, 10-20% on a 10x leverage. So if, you know, some of you DJing guys want to do all that, that's completely fine. I'm hoping with the CryptoExplorer guys we'll get it sorted. I'll start providing all that stuff on Monday for you, because I know even though you guys know I don't hugely support it, I know you guys want me to dip in each day, see what opportunities there are, and give you what I feel like would be the best opportunities, if that makes sense, if you were going to play. So yeah, more than happy to do that, obviously. Solana, this is probably another bear flag that is actually already breaking down. Yeah, that's probably going to break that. That's probably in the process of breaking down. Probably something like that. Yeah, that's a really bad bear flag. That's a clear bear flag. This will send us to 91, 92. So our original entries, which is good. It's nice to know that we got in at 91. I think we sold in at like 134. I could be wrong. I think we sold somewhere in here like 134. So this trade was absolutely phenomenal, which is what I mean. This is where our I know a lot of you guys said you paid for, you know, a 3 months membership with those trades. Curve, we did pretty well as well. So that's good. Take those opportunities whilst they're there, but don't bank on them always being there, because the bear markets are really bad. They are really bad. But I promise you, this one is absolutely nothing like the 2018, 2019 bear market. I was sat here through that, and that was really painful. So this one, at least there's opportunities on the table. We'll probably get a bounce at some point, maybe up to like 115, something like that. If we bounce down to 92, we might get a quick move up, another movement down, fill a bull div, and then move up from there. But let's see what we get. We might even be getting it here, to be honest. Let's see how we close this evening. But overall, I'm not confident. You can see the liquidity is being drained from everything. Nothing has got the pace, nothing has got the momentum to really push it forward. Or upwards, sorry. BNB. So BNB's actually responded really well, but it dropped harder than everything else. It probably dropped, 15 or so percent. Maybe not. It probably dropped about the same percent as everything else, actually. FTT was, yeah, it probably did drop the same percent as everything else. So it has actually recovered quite well. You have, sort of got from 390 to 420 or so. You've got yourself at least 5% there. Let's do some manual charting of this in front of you guys. So you're looking at something like this. This is you can have two ideas here. No, you can't. You can have one idea. Yeah, that's probably your idea. You've probably got the wedge like this. It's not the greatest trend line because you've got the movement. You've only got one touch. Ideally, you want to be having 2 or 3 touches. So that's something, take note of when you're doing your drawings. I know a lot of you guys try and do your charting. So let's see what we get. But I think we're probably going to come down and retest this. And we'll probably test 382 if we continue to see bearish price action. But we might actually come down and then push up to 433. At this moment in time, we don't know really what's going to happen. We know the Fed is really bad. So we don't ever want to be trading against the Fed. The term is don't fight the Fed. So you don't ever want to be trading against what the Fed is doing. And the risk on assets correlation to what the Fed is doing is hugely correlated. At this moment in time, crypto is a risk on asset. So if the Fed is bullish or accommodative, crypto is going to go up. If it's tightening, crypto is going to go down. So that, you know, and the Fed is doing the most aggressive tightening cycle they've done in decades. So, you know, make of that what you will. Let's look at Matic. Let's save that before it disappears. This will be a bear flag on Matic, we can see. Could even be that. You might get a wider one though. I said it's probably it now, but we may end up getting one that looks something. Something like this. But for now, the first one I did was valid. So let's get rid of this second one we did. But these are options. We need to see how things play out. But with Matic, we said with Matic, it's been in no man's land for a long time. Volume has always been poor, getting more and more poor. The volume got a little bit better, but only on the big red candles. We couldn't ever get above 169, 170. That was our zone of really getting above and showing some momentum come in. We then didn't hold the uptrend line, broken below the uptrend line. And I've said for ages now, I think we're destined for 124, which we can have a bounce from. I think we're going to see less bounces than we were seeing. So I think overall, we still see crypto go down. And I think Matic ends up probably revisiting 88 or 67 cents if Bitcoin goes to 25. Those are my thoughts. Polkadot, clear bear flag again. So guys, notice a lot of the coins are doing similar things. This might even be worth a quick scalp for a short, but I don't like the fact the market is down. This is a really clear flag to me though. Let's try and make our minds up on this more. I don't want to short this. It's already down a lot, but at the same time, I wouldn't. If I had to trade this, I'd bet this to go down. I certainly wouldn't be longing it. I go over this ugly. It's really bad overall. And even though we were all so bullish before, and it's great to be like that, but as soon as those March meeting minutes came out, you saw how bad the Fed was, and the professional investment managers straight away begin the risking off. Straight away they begin the risking off. So you have to take that on board and see that these things just don't look good now. You've got declining volume, you've got not being able to hold higher levels, collapsing below support levels, creating bearish formations, breaking down again. Like all of this adds up to not being good overall. Chainlink is probably broken down. This one is really disappointing. This one looked like it could do reasonably well. This is probably breaking down already, or broken down. Yeah, this one's broken down. But, you know, at this moment in time, this might even create a bull div, and you might get move up to something like 1450. But at the same time, I'm just not interested in this stuff at this moment in time. I'm really not. If we start seeing some clear bull divs on Bitcoin, I might look for some of the stronger alts like a Solana or a BNB, something like that I know is going to have liquidity, I know it's going to have volume. So we might look for stuff like that going forward for a bounce play. But the bounce isn't going to, you know, I'm not expecting it to go to 18. I might expect it to go to like probably here, 1490, something like that. But we might go lower first and test 1311, and then that might be the bounce play we play from there. Okay, AVAX, another clear flag. They're all playing very similar formations, as you can see. Probably breaking down as well. But holding the horizontal support for now, which is good to see, but I do think we'll probably collapse below. But I do think we're due a bounce at some point now. I really do. Like, everything looks really bad. So when everything looks really bad, you're probably due a bounce. When everything looks really good, you're probably due a correction. That's the way you've got to think of these markets. Nope. Yeah. So for now, I want to see how this stuff holds. I think the Bitcoin close tonight will be really important. But I think, you know, if Bitcoin goes to 25k, this comes down to less. Probably 38. And look, in terms of what I'm saying in terms of the momentum stuff, we didn't get enough momentum to even test this level. I always say to you guys, let's test this level, see how we go, and that will tell us the real strength behind the move. We didn't even get there. And that's happened on all the coins we've gone through so far. So overall, I'm not interested in longing anything really, unless we can find some sort of really solid bull div play in Bitcoin, and then you would play Bitcoin and maybe a couple of the key strong alts like a Solana or a BNB. But other than that, I'm not looking to long. Luna is did we just do Luna? No, Luna is breaking down. This one's disappointing. I was considering shorting somewhere in here, and I thought we'd get a bounce. But look, another bear flag here, broken down. Another bear flag here, broken down. You know, declining volume. Not interested. RSI is low, so you might want to come down here, see that we get a bull div, and then we bounce from there. But at this moment in time, it's difficult to know, and I don't feel confident or comfortable placing any decent size longs. So if I'm not placing any decent size longs, there's no point really placing any small longs. So the risk reward just isn't really there for me. But I am expecting all of this to have some kind of bounce. It can't just keep going, you know. And it's waiting for that opportunity where we might get a small long in, but just really risk free. But at the same time, it's almost worth arguing that it's not even worth doing. But that's what I'm thinking now. Maybe some they're high risk plays, but small bets on some longs for a small bounce. That's all it will be. We're not going to have any convincing moves. I hope you guys that were like ultra bullish on the market, saying, "Oh, we're going to go back to 60k," are starting to realize, you know, we're not going to go back to 60k. It's I would say 80% chance not going to be this year. I'd say there's a strong chance it'll be in 2023, and I would say in 2024 we'll go and get like 150, 200k Bitcoin. So if you can get in the next 3 months a 25k Bitcoin, that's when you buy, forget you even own it, come back in 2 years' time. That's when you really make real money. And you have to be here now, studying this, waiting, like really raring to go to find that opportunity. And this is the key time. It really is. Everyone thinks, oh, I'll get back in when everything's bullet. That's just not when you make money. That's when your risk is really high and your reward is pretty low. When now things are low and are likely to go lower, but your reward is starting to increase and your risk is starting to decrease. This is the time to really be here. If we look at curve, and probably another bear flag, probably going to break down to 198. We might get a bounce to 198. So I'm thinking a lot of these coins are bear flagging. It's likely we get the breakdowns depending on what Bitcoin does, but it's likely we get the breakdowns, although no, we haven't had any bull divs. It's likely we get the breakdowns, we find some support, and then we have a bit more of an ish bounce from there. Maybe from 2 to like 236, and we can go and nick ourselves 10, 15, 20% on a spot play. So that's something that as I'm talking to myself, that is sort of what is interesting me. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Phantom is just an absolute shocker. Bear flag on a horizontal support, probably going to break down. Not interested. Sand was one I was interested. This is one I'm interested on for potential long, but the liquidity, the volume is just terrible. It doesn't give me any confidence. But I like the fact that we've managed to hold this 265 level. However, if we break it, I'd be very scared. You're firstly going to test 230, which is a 20-ish% decline. So straight away you're going to lose 20%, and if you lose that level, you're probably coming all the way down to 180. It's just a frightening play, it really is. But overall, I am considering placing a long if we can find the Bitcoin bull div at the same time that Sand holds this horizontal support. If we can hold that, Bitcoin places its bull div, finds its lower low, higher low on the RSI on decent time frames, that might be worth a play. But for now, just looking. Keen, but just looking. Let's look at a few others. Let's look at waves just to make ourselves cry. It's 21. Oh, what did I say? Extremely disappointed not to be involved in this. Extremely disappointed. I was strongly considering doing shorts here, but it's frightening because it can go to like a 70, 80. But what we should have done is we should have just placed an extremely small short on it. But I do get worried because I know a lot of you guys just say, you know, I do a trade, you feel like you missed out on the last one, so you want to go all in on this one, and you know you can get chopped out. And I want you guys to be here and survive. So I'm very careful with these kind of trades. But hopefully, if we start doing this riskier trades channel, which we'll do on Monday, I think things like that can fall into it. So something like that can be really cool. So let's see how we go on it. ApeCoin is holding up relatively well, to be honest. I think you just got so many big bag holders of it that are just not willing to sell. So yeah, that's why I think that's holding up like it is. But overall, let's have one last look at Bitcoin. Do you know what we could get, which would be really cool? To see us break down this flag, but bounce somewhere here, like 38,700. That would fill our bull div on the 12 hour for sure. But if we could do that, I would definitely do a long. I'd probably go reasonably big on that as well, because then you could easily get a move up to sort of like a 41, 42 before a final move down. Because we don't have anything bearish or bullish coming in between probably now and May 9th. So what's the date? 14th. So you've got a couple of weeks where you can have a small rally, but it's not going to get any momentum. It's not going to get any real volume simply because the Fed is really bearish. And the big professional investors will not buy and hold. They might buy a small amount and ride off a lot of their size a week, 2 weeks into the trade, but they're not going to be buying for like any considerable periods of time. And the guys that the big corporations want to add to their balance sheet, they're not going to buy now because they've probably got good analysts there suggesting we're going to go significantly lower. So wait till then. So that's it for now, guys. You've got to be patient, sit on the sides, continue waiting. I've been saying this mostly since January. So I think early January we were sort of like in here at the sort of 42 level. So we've been pretty much the same. But let's go and look at some alts. So I think it was January the 10th. So let's say so ETH was probably at 3.1, maybe anywhere between 3.080 and 3.160. I mean, you've been as low as 2.2, and now you would only be 7% better off, but that's Bitcoin and ETH. So you would still have been okay if you were just holding those. But I know a lot of you guys are in alts, you really like the alts. So let's just pick out Solana, for example. Solana, we were in here. So sort of around the 100. I think 147 was where we sold. I remember thinking 147 was where I sold the Solanas. So let's go anywhere between 138 and 1. So let's call it 140. We sold at 140. You're now at 99. You know, you've saved yourself a sort of 30% decline. The alts is where the real money is lost because they just bleed. Let's look at a couple more. Let's look at Chainlink. Let's look at DOT and Chainlink, two of our big bags that we would have had. So we were somewhere in January the 10th. So probably somewhere in here at 24. You're now at 17. So again, you would have saved 30%. Chainlink. Christ. So you were probably somewhere in on the 10th. You're probably right up here. We would have sold at 20. I think we sold at 24, to be honest. But this is 27. I think we might have sold later. I have a feeling in my head it's 24. But say I'm right and it was January the 10th, you know, you'd have been selling up here in the 27s, 28s. But I do think it was $24. But okay, so let's say we sold at $24. Worst ways. It's now 13. You would have lost 50% of your money in that one play. This is what I mean. It's alts that really bleed. I mean, Curve, don't even get me started on. I think I initially said I sold that in the 6s. But, you know, that would have been somewhere here at 450. It's now, you know, 222. You would have lost 50%. So the money is really lost in the alts. The money is not lost in Bitcoin or Ether. I'm always feel quite comfortable holding Bitcoin and Ether. But I feel like we will get better opportunities to buy them basically later down the line, and I think there's going to be in the following months. So for now, we'll set up this riskier trades, we'll do that, and I think they'll be cool. It'll provide some good opportunities. It will get you guys chatting and, most importantly, learning between now and the right time. And that's what's really going to pay you the big money. And I think those riskier trades, you might take, so I'd say play them really small, take a few small losses, and understand what you're doing much better, so that you've got the real capital sat there ready to go when the time is right to buy in. And I do think that's going to be in the next couple of months. So yeah, that's all from me. If there's any questions, ask away in the chats. I'll be giving out a fresh watch list tomorrow morning. Yeah, as per usual, any questions, fire over in the chats. Cheers, everyone. Have a nice evening.